What's up, friends? Today we're talking about spotting, and I know there are already a lot of tutorials about how to spot here on YouTube that you've probably already seen, but what I mainly want to talk about in this video is some things that I see people doing incorrectly when they're trying to spot, which might be causing them to become dizzy, and just some general exercises that you can do and some tips about spotting that will help you to be able to turn, because I know a lot of people get what spotting is, like in principle, like you know that you're supposed to be looking at something and keep looking at it all the way around, but it still isn't really translating while you turn. So that is what we're going to talk about today throughout this video. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you like dance tips, dance combos, follow-along classes, all kinds of dance things. Right now I'm in the middle of hashtag 25 days of technique if you're watching this in December. So I'm posting a video every single day and you don't want to miss out, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you are alerted every single time that I post a video. Okay, let's spot. So what is spotting? Spotting is when you pick something to focus on, like I am focusing on you guys right now, and as you turn, you are staring straight at that spot for as long as you can, and the moment that you can no longer keep your head there, you whip it around and you find that spot again. The key here is that you have to keep your head there as long as you possibly can. I saw on another video talking about spotting that someone mentioned what helped them was to literally make it until you can kind of feel like your neck is pinching, and that's the point when you can whip it back around. So you don't want to do it too early. You don't want to be like halfway over here and then start trying to turn your head, because that's when a lot of people get lost, I think, is the switching part. So really what it takes is for you to just stand there and practice. Make sure you do both sides. Stand and practice looking straight at something. And I actually think it's most helpful if you get a mirror, you look at yourself in the mirror and like look into your own eyes. And also the mirror is helpful because you'll see if you're starting to move out of your place as you do it. So that's a big thing that I've noticed a lot of people struggle with, is they have the spotting action kind of there, but they're not staying in the same place with their body or their neck, and so they're getting kind of like off balance, and that's causing the spotting to end up making them dizzy and just not working, and you're just going to fall off balance of your turn. So you need to make sure that you have that strong stability, that strong core, you're pulling up in your legs or whatever position that you're doing, that you're thinking about staying in the same place the whole entire time, and the only thing moving is your head. So that's the first thing that I want to mention, is making sure that you are staying aligned. Because if I start going like this and then I like start moving this way, then look what happens. My neck is like craning backwards, it's tilted. The rest of my body is like out of whack. And then how do you expect yourself to whip your head back around? It doesn't make sense. You want it to be like you're literally like a little owl and your head is just turning on place and your body is staying and turning right around. So I hope that's a clear explanation. I see that in a lot of dancers. The second thing I want to talk about is the feeling of being dizzy. Now, I've seen a lot of comments of people saying even though they spot, they still feel kind of dizzy and they don't know what they're doing wrong. So I just want to say, like, you kind of just are still going to get a little bit dizzy. You shouldn't get dizzy if you're only doing like a double or a single and that's it. But if you're doing like a complex combination of turns, it's kind of likely that you're still going to get dizzy, and you're just going to kind of get used to getting dizzy. And I think for me, I forget that because I grew up dancing, and like especially when you're a little kid, dizziness doesn't really affect you as much. You kind of just like are like, oh, I'm just a little dizzy, whatever, and you keep going. But when you're an adult or you're older, it's very noticeable when you're dizzy and it's very disorienting. So just keep that in mind. You're basically just going to get better at being dizzy and get more used to it. Of course, it shouldn't be to the point where like you're going to fall over every single time that you're doing turns, but I can tell you for a fact that like there was a year that I didn't really do a lot of ballet. Like I didn't do a lot of complex like turning across the floor combinations. And then the first time I went back to a class and we did something across the floor, I was dizzy almost every time, and I definitely was spotting. And so it's still going to be there, but the purpose of spotting is, of course, one, to prevent you from being dizzy, but also to keep you focused so that if you are doing some kind of turns across the floor, you're not going to go in like a zigzag pattern. You're going to stay focused on where you're going. And that brings me to the exercise that I recommend to most dancers who are just learning how to spot or who need to improve it. Obviously that first one that I just showed you, where you're just standing in place and turning around, You could kind of do like a little baby turn as well if you wanted, where you just like pick up your foot a little bit and you're not even going up on releve. But the one that I personally like the best is doing like half chaîné turns. So you pick a spot that you want to go to, and you literally, like, this is how I teach my little dancers, is you just stand in a second position releve, and you can put your hands on your hips if you want, and you're going flip, and then you keep looking at that spot, and you try to flip your body around again. You could even do this on flat if you wanted to, but as you progress, I would recommend that you start doing it on releve, and then you can even start doing it with your feet in first position. So you're just going flip, keep looking at it, keep looking at it, and that will really give you a gauge of what your upper body is doing. Because like I mentioned before, if you're starting to like move out of balance, then it's going to be really hard for you to spot and keep that head on the right plane. So if you do this releve exercise, it's going to be difficult because you're going to have to think really hard about staying here in this position. But all you're doing is flipping from one side to the other and flipping, keeping your head there, and then you can move it faster and faster. This is a quick video because there's not a whole lot that I can say except practice, and definitely use a mirror if you can. And also, something that I always recommend is that you put your camera down or ask your friend to record you and see if you're doing any of this weird stuff. Like, are you leaning as you try and whip your head around? Is your head not staying straight? Is your body moving? Look at those little things, and also look to see, like, are you even spotting? Because a lot of times you think you're spotting, but you're not really keeping that neck there or that head there as long as you possibly can, so that's not really spotting. Okay, that's all I have to say today. This was a quick one, but it was very much requested, so I had to do it. Hopefully this helps, but if you do have any other tips to recommend to others, feel free to leave them below. Help a friend out on this channel, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!